The first warning came as a whisper, an automated distress signal, drifting through dark space with no voice attached. The Galactic Council examined it again and again, but the message was always the same. Entering Sol, systems failing, unknown contact, all hands. Then silence. Commander Reldar, a seasoned explorer who had survived black hole storms and ion space pirates, stared at the broken transmission. Every instinct inside him said the same thing. Something was wrong with Sol, very wrong. But pride was louder than fear. The Council wanted answers, and he wanted glory. So he led a fleet of 8 ships toward the human star system, the place the galaxy once called a dead, forgotten world. As they approached, the Sol system looked peaceful. Too peaceful. No patrols. No defenses. Not even a signal from Earth. Everything felt empty, abandoned, waiting. Reldar felt a cold pressure in his chest. The darkness around Sol felt thicker, heavier, as if the void itself was holding its breath. Then the first ship vanished. No explosion. No warning. No trace. One moment it was on the scanner, and the next, the space where it existed was simply gone. Panic spread through the fleet. But Reldar forced him to continue deeper. "We are explorers," he said. "We do not run from shadows." But the shadows did not care. As the fleet crossed Mars' orbit, the stars around them flickered, blinked out, one by one. The scanners showed nothing, but every crew member felt watched, as if thousands of unseen eyes followed their every move. A quiet voice trembled on the comms. "Commander, something is moving near Earth." Reldar turned toward the viewing screen. He saw a shape, huge, silent, impossible, slowly rising above Earth's dark horizon, and in that moment, he finally understood why no one ever returned from Sol. The shape rising above Earth was unlike anything the fleet had ever seen. It was not a ship built by the Galactic Council or by any known species. It moved with slow confidence, as though it had been waiting for them. Commander Reldar felt his throat tighten. The giant craft had no visible engines, no glowing weapons, no movement lines. Yet it drifted upward with perfect control, silent and watching. Its surface looked like black metal mixed with shattered starlight. Every panel seemed to shift and breathe, as if the ship itself was alive. "Scan it," Reldar ordered. We can't," the sensor officer whispered. "Our systems freeze every time we try. It's blocking everything." Then the strange thing happened. One by one, the fleet's lights dimmed. Not fully, just enough to make everyone feel small. Power levels dropped by tiny percentages, like something was nibbling at their energy. It made the crew's hearts pound harder. It felt like a warning. Reldar steadied himself. Hold position. No sudden moves. But the giant craft did not hold still. A faint glow appeared beneath its hull, soft, white, and slow-moving, like a heartbeat. The glow expanded into a circle of light, pointed directly at the fleet. No weapons fired. No threats made. Just a pulse. A deep, resonant pulse that rattled every bone and every metal plate in the ships. Consoles flickered. Shields blinked. The entire fleet shuddered. "What was that?" someone shouted. "It's scanning us," Reldar said quietly. "But not with technology we understand." The pulse repeated. Stronger. Warning alarms exploded across the bridge. Trajectory maps glitched. Cameras froze. Their navigation AI went silent. Then a chilling message appeared on every screen, written in a language no one had taught them. Yet they all understood it. Leave. Reldar swallowed hard. Something on Earth was telling them to run. The single word, leave, glowed across every screen like a cold command. No species in the known galaxy used that exact structure. No translation system could have generated it. It was written in a style none of them recognized, yet every mind understood it instantly. That was the first sign. The second sign came moments later. Earth itself seemed to shift. The dark half of the planet brightened with tiny sparks. Cities flickering alive, power grids waking up, structures glowing like veins beneath the surface. It was as if the planet had been sleeping, and their arrival had opened its eyes. Reldar felt a pulse of fear. Pull back. Slowly. No sudden actions. But the fleet was already struggling. Navigation screens looped. Engines responded with a half-second delay. Their own ships felt heavy, like something was pressing against them from all directions. Then the giant black craft moved again. It didn't rush. It didn't attack. It simply repositioned itself between Earth and the fleet, like a parent stepping protectively in front of a child. "Why is it blocking us?" an officer asked. Reldar had no answer, only a tightening in his chest. The third sign came quietly. A transmission arrived. No source, no frequency, no signature, just a human voice. Calm, cold, almost disappointed. "You were warned." Every heart in the fleet froze. Humans had been declared extinct centuries ago. Their world abandoned, their cities dust. No creature could mimic a human perfectly, not like this. "Commander," another officer whispered, "we need to leave now." Reldar finally agreed. "All ships, prepare retreat." But the engines didn't obey. The giant craft pulsed again, a deep vibration that shook every window, every nerve, every bone. And the fleet realized something horrifying. They were no longer in control of their ships. Panic spread through the fleet as the engines remained unresponsive. Officers typed command after command, but the ships drifted like stones caught in a slow current. The giant black craft above Earth pulsed again, soft, steady, absolute. Every pulse tightened the invisible grip around their vessels. "Nothing is responding," the helmsman shouted. "Manual override is locked by something outside the ship." Reldar felt sweat on his palms. "Try emergency thrusters." "We did." They fire, but the ship doesn't move. It was as if space itself refused to let them go. Alarms flashed again. This time, a new message appeared on every screen. "Do not approach Earth. You were given a choice." Reldar's heart hammered. Who is sending this? Identify the source. "No origin point," the communications officer whispered, voice trembling. "It's everywhere. It's inside our systems." The lights around them dimmed, flickered, then stabilized. But something had changed. The air felt colder. The silence felt heavier. The crew felt watched, closely, intelligently. Then the strange phenomenon began. Windows darkened. The stars outside flickered like faulty lights. And slowly, shapes appeared in the void. Faint outlines at first, then sharper, brighter, undeniable. Ghostly silhouettes of ships. Human ships. Millions of them. Not physical, projections, memories, echoes. But so detailed that every plate, every burn mark, every railgun imprint was visible. The entire fleet stared in disbelief as the spectral armada surrounded them from every direction. "What are those?" someone whispered. "Records," Reldar murmured. "Warnings." The ghost ships moved silently, passing through their hulls like smoke. Each one carried scars. Holes melted through armor, shredded wings, shattered engines. They were not showing strength. They were showing what had happened before. A final message appeared. "Turn back. This is your last moment." But before Reldar could reply, something massive moved behind the ghost fleet. Something real. Something awake. Behind the ghostly armada, the darkness shifted. Not like a shadow, but like something enormous stretching after a long sleep. The stars disappeared one by one, blocked by a shape so massive that even the fleet sensors failed to measure it. Reldar felt his breath stop. That isn't a ship." No one argued. The thing emerging from the void was far too large, far too quiet, far too deliberate. Its surface looked like dark metal mixed with obsidian crystal, and yet it moved with the slow and steady motion of something alive. Deep red lines pulsed across its hull like veins. The giant black craft they first saw near Earth now looked small, like a scout or a guardian, because this was the real threat. A soft vibration filled the fleet, deep enough to rattle every bone in their bodies. This was not a weapon. It felt like a heartbeat, a planetary heartbeat. "Commander," the science officer whispered, voice shaking, "I think it's part of Earth." Reldar stared harder. The more he looked, the more the truth formed in his mind, heavy and terrifying. Humans were never weak. Humans were never gone. Humanity had built something, or become something far beyond what the galaxy understood. The massive entities stopped moving. A single red eye, if it could be called an eye, opened on its surface. It wasn't glowing. It was observing, watching them, studying them like insects. Then the entity projected a communication. No words, no voice, just a direct mental pressure that pushed into every mind at once. You were warned. A scream rose from one of the smaller ships as its hull cracked. Not from collision, not from weapons. The entity had simply focused on it. Panels bent inward. Metal shrieked. Lights exploded. An entire ship imploded into a single point of darkness, then vanished. The fleet realized the truth. They were standing in the presence of something humans had left behind, and it did not want them here. The fleet watched in frozen terror as the small ship vanished, erased without light, without debris, without even sound. One moment it existed. The next, it was a memory. The massive entity's red eye dimmed again, as if the destruction had required no effort at all. Reldar tried to speak, but his voice cracked. All ships remained still. Do not provoke it. But the entity was already moving. The ghost, armada faded away, pulled back toward Earth like mist. The guardian craft near the planet rose higher, aligning itself with the colossal being. For a moment, they hovered side by side, two parts of a single system, ancient and unstoppable. Then something unexpected happened. Earth lit up, not with weapons, not with explosions, but with millions of blue lights, rings, grids, and patterns covering oceans, continents, even the dark side of the moon. It was like watching a planet wake from 1,000-year sleep, and then a final message appeared in every mind at once. Not written, not spoken, not transmitted. It simply existed. Soul is protected. Humanity is not gone. Humanity is elsewhere. You are not ready to know where. A cold shiver ran through every crew member. If humans were elsewhere, what had they become? How powerful were they now? What had they left behind to guard their home? The entity's red eye narrowed. The message continued. You entered without respect. You ignored warnings. This is your memory. Suddenly, the ships regained control, but not by choice. A force gripped them, turning each vessel away from Earth, aligning them with deep space. Engines ignited on their own. They were being expelled. Faster than any warp system they possessed, faster than they could understand. The fleet was hurled out of Sol's borders in a blinding flash. When the stars returned to view, their scanners were empty. The path behind them was gone. The Sol system had vanished. All that remained was a final echo in Reldar's mind. Do not return. And that was the last story anyone ever heard from the fleet that crossed into Sol.